recording.
Oh.
There's Dad. Alright. You good?
Yep.
Alright. Have fun.
Yeah. Katie wanted me to make this video. Got a bunch of questions here for me to answer. Tell me your full name, when and where you were born. I was Kenneth Pondo. I was born in Philadelphia, July 30th, 1949. My parents and grandparents. My parents are both from Manayunk area, Philadelphia. My grandparents all came from southeast Poland, near Ukraine and Austria. In fact, my one grandfather's immigration papers said he was from Austria, but he was a Polak. The area was known as Rzeszów in Poland, and I was lucky enough to go there and visit the old family parish. Parishes for three of the four grandparents. Now my one grandfather, he died at 37 years of age. My father had to quit school in 3rd grade and go out and get a job and to support the family. My other grandfather died at 52, and they had 13 kids. They were a tight family, and they all got along real well, and they were all successful here in the United States. And my parents' careers. My father was a welder in a steel mill, and my mother took care of the kids. She got a job later on in life and working in the bank, and she enjoyed getting away from my father, and she enjoyed working. Brothers and sisters, I had one brother, Butch, Jean, and 3 sisters, Barbara, Janie, and Karen. And what she got here? Some of the hobbies growing up. Most of it was archery. Used to shoot competition later on. Me and my buddies, we'd take our bows and arrows and go in the fields. We lived in Philadelphia, but it was country back then, that area. And we'd take our bows and arrows and go out hunting rabbits and pheasants. Didn't get many, but we had a good time going out after them. My dad raised pigeons, and one of my jobs was taking care of the pigeons, and I always had chickens and rabbits, and we had dogs and what have you, and rabbits. Well, the pigeons, he used to race them. They were homing pigeons, and they'd fly up to 600 miles in races. We never did that well, but my dad had a good time with it, and I was his labor. Now, Katie's got a question in here. Did you have electricity, TV, or phone? Well, not that old. We did have electricity. The TV was a little 8-inch black and white, and the cabinet was the size of my desk here. But we enjoyed it. Saturday mornings watching The Lone Ranger, Superman. We had a good time with that little TV. The phone, it was a rotary phone. You had to dial the numbers, and it was a party line. So you'd pick up, and occasionally we'd listen in when whoever was talking on the phone, they'd hear some rustling in the background, and who's on here? And you'd sneakily hang it up. I guess there were 8 or 10 different families used the same phone line. That's just the way it was. First movie I ever saw in a theater. The only one I remember is the only first and only movie my dad took me to was Old Yeller. I still remember going into that, the Roxy Theater in Roxborough, Philadelphia. Let's see, what did you and your best friend do together? Mostly everything revolved around archery. Um, so every Sunday morning we go to 6 o'clock Mass, then mostly hitchhike to the archery range and go to the shoots. That was something he did almost every Sunday. Saturday night, the night before, I usually went to Gilbertsville auction with my Uncle Eddie Pondo. And many a time we'd come home. He had never took the truck up there. We always had a car, and I'd be riding in the back seat with crates of chickens and ducks and goats. Think nothing of having a goat on my lap and coming all the way home. What did you want to be when you grew up? I always wanted to be a veterinarian. I love taking care of animals and what have you. But then I hit organic chemistry in college, and that my veterinary career went down the drain. Did you ever break curfew or sneak out of the house? I used to come in late sometimes, and no matter how quiet I was or what I did, Mom would always be behind the door with a shoe. And as soon as I walked in, she'd start beating me with her shoe. Okay, what was your first car? I bought a '56 Chevy. I paid $25 for it. And the funny thing about it, you couldn't make a left turn. There was something wrong with the steering. My parents didn't even know I had it. So I rented a garage near our house, kept the car in the garage, and every once in a while I'd take it out and just had to make sure I made right turns with it. It was a lot of fun. Eventually I sold it, got rid of it. Then I got my '49 Plymouth and had a lot of fun with those old cars. Okay, were you ever in the service? I did 3 years and a couple of months in the Army, and that's something that changed my life. I went to MP school, served in Japan for a year up in northern Japan and Hokkaido Island. From there, I got orders for Vietnam, went to Okinawa for 3 weeks for jungle training, and then from Vietnam I went over to Ethiopia, which is now Eritrea, and spent a year over there. So my whole time was spent overseas, and I had a good time. What kind of music do you like? I always liked the late 60s, late 50s, early 60s music, the doo-wop sounds. I guess you grow up liking the type of music from your generation, and it stays with you. Favorite vacation? I always remember we used to go down the shore, Jersey Shore, Wildwood, with Aunt Bertha, all of her kids. Well, it was Bobby, who was just a year or two older than me, Patsy, and Jimmy. And we'd go down, we'd rent a house. You couldn't get any further from the beach where this house was, but we still had a good time. We walked to the beach and that's the way it was. Aunt Bertha had a 56 Chevy. I kind of remember it being blue and white, but and we'd all pile in. It was me, my mom, Janie, Karen or Fred, my sister. Aunt Bertha would drive, and then Bobby, Jimmy, and Patty, and we always had a good time. What are your hopes for your family? I just hope they continue to love one another, to have faith in God, and to get along with each other. And okay, here's a deep one. What advice would you give to your children or grandchildren regarding life in general? There's several F's. The most important is your faith in God. The second is family. Then your friends. Have a lot of friends. And then finally, have fun. I don't think Jesus walked around with a sour face. I kind of always pictured him as laughing and having a good time, playing jokes on the apostles, or playing jokes on his mother, and laughing a lot. And so if you have faith, family, friends, and fun. Oh, also, freedom. That should be before the fun. Enjoy the freedoms that we have, and hopefully will continue to have in this country. As long as you believe in God, have a relationship with God, look around at creation. That's why I enjoy hunting so much. Not so much to bring home the game, but a lot of times I'd say the rosary. I'll sit out there on a tree stand or on a deer stand, say the rosary, and just enjoy nature and enjoy what God created. If I look at one of these nature shows on TV, I don't think about how these things evolved. They didn't evolve, they were created. And how clever God is and how great he is that he would be able to create these animals, these critters. Of course, I kind of wonder about mosquitoes and flies, but I'm sure they have a purpose. What's the biggest accomplishment in your life? I would say Kenny, Chris, Katie, Mary, and Carolyn. And then there are my grandchildren. I'm not going to name them all because I'll probably forget one. But that's my greatest accomplishment. That you've all come out successful. You all have faith in God. You all attend church regularly. And you're good people. Nobody's created any problems for me or for society. You've all been good kids. And most of that's due to Karen, but some of it, I guess I had a little bit to do with it. Okay, how do you hope to be remembered when you're gone from this life? Somebody who liked to have fun, somebody that had faith in God, believed in God, did what God wants me to do. But again, I like to laugh. I like to have fun. And I guess that's about it. Just want to let you know, if I never told you I loved you, I do. And I guess that's it. God bless.